I think we literally did break up in Japan a week before, and me and Keith went to Hawaii for some R&R, and I think basically we had been in Japan long enough without any pot to realize that first place we could get to where there was marijuana was Hawaii. We went right.
Gentlemen, such a pleasure to see you all.
Glad to be seen.
Really, really lovely to see you. And I have to say, the fact that you guys have now been a band for more than 5 decades, I mean, you look fabulous. This is absolutely terrifying.
You're very kind.
You need to wear your glasses.
Always, but you all look incredibly youthful still. Do you think playing live helps to keep you feeling young?
I think this job helps you. It's a Peter Pan business, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Not only because you start out basically a kid, and then you go through years and years of doing it. But I think road touring, I think you're right about that. I mean, it's a different kind of job description. It's not like going to an office and working, or being an executive, or being working on a farm. It's like you do this every day, but it's a different kind of a situation, and you're entertaining people, and people are giving, for the most part, very positive feedback, and I think that's part of the deal too.
I always say I might be old, but I'm immature.
I think it takes years off your life, personally.
Touring generally, or playing music, or
I'm living proof of that.
I mean, it must be exhausting, but you must get so much from playing live and from seeing your fans all over the world. I mean, you're obviously here in the UK at the moment. Very, very sadly, you weren't able to perform at British Summertime last night. But I know that you are performing. You've got a few dates coming up in some pretty big venues here. So what about your fans in the UK? What do they mean to you?
They've always been really wonderful, a wonderful fan base, and surprising, I think, to all of us that whenever we come to play here.
In spite of the language barrier.
Yeah. The reception was always...
What y'all mean? What are you talking about?
So you guys have been back in the studio recently. You've got new music out. So who is in charge of telling me about the new music?
We're thrilled to have some new music out there for sure. It's kind of the same feeling that you get when you come to a place so far away and play music. It's like, it's all an experiment, right? I mean, that's really the bottom line. Is every time you put out new music or you come to another place to play, it's like, well, what's it going to be like? What's the reaction going to be? And with new music, it's multiple levels of that. Are they going to like the songs? Can we play the songs if we have to get up live?
There is that.
Can we perform them? A lot of kind of anticipation from us, I think, as individuals. I'll say we are getting good response from the new record, so that's huge.
I was reading the reviews; they're fantastic.
So it's kind of a surprise, and I don't mean that like, what do you mean it's good? It's like you don't know what to expect, really. And I don't know if anybody really thought it through that much. For us, it was just kind of an experiment. Yeah, let's get together and do a few tracks, and then it ended up being an album. But it started out, we're just going to do 4 songs and see what it sounded like. And that got added to. We kept writing, and ended up with an album, and it came out. It's just an evolution, if you will. It's part of the process. You're on the road, you're now in the studio. And then, as Pat said, you had to learn the songs to play live. And we're doing 4 of them live in a lot of these gigs, which is unheard of for us. We usually did 2 at the most. And they have been great. The crowd has obviously heard them or something because they're responding to them, and that's amazing.
That's incredible. I mean, you guys are known for your changing sound over the years. You're one of the bands that have really... Your sound has evolved so much from where you started to where you are now. How would you characterize this new phase for you?
I think probably the changing sound is as much the variety of songs that we've done through the years. But on any individual level, if you hear a song of Mike's or you hear a song of Tom's or mine, most of the people that are our fans will go, oh, well, that's Mike McDonald, you know. Oh, there it is. Oh, and that sounds, boy, reminds me of this song that he did, or same thing with Tom, or something I would write. I think there's an expectation that, you know, at least people that are familiar with the band, they understand, you know, who brings a certain element to the mix and to the records.
I think the important part is we stayed true to that. It's really not your rubber stamping and stuff you did earlier. You're just being yourself. And that's important. I mean, if we tried to go out and do a rap album, I might look at you, lost your mind. But, I mean, we're doing stuff that comes naturally. Any of us that are doing the writing, it's just stuff that's what we're about. That's where we come from. And this one, we wrote the songs in the studio from the bottom up, except for one song, and maybe two. They were created there, so they were brand new. And we did them all with John Shanks, who produced it and co-wrote songs with him. So they were created in that place, and they definitely knew. And he had ideas about what would be a good direction to go, but we all did too. And I think that's important. This band has a sound, and it's gotten wider in variety. And we got Mike back, and I think that adds a big dimension for the band. And the rest of us are still swinging the bat same way we always did.
I think we've always kind of felt like in the 80s, there seemed to be artists that felt the need to reinvent themselves with each record, you know, and we've never been that kind of band. I think we've always kind of held to, we'd like to do it a little better than we did it the last time, you know, and whatever that is, you know.
It blows my mind that you guys, when you started recording music, they would have been on records, and then you've gone through the era of tapes and CDs, and I'm old enough to remember mini discs, and then now streaming. And how do you think your career would have panned out differently if you'd started now as opposed to then?
The business isn't what it was at that time period. We were discussing this in the thing we did previously, and that is that Warner Brothers, where we got signed initially, we were just like 22-year-old kids, and we were green behind the ears. We had no idea what we were doing. But we loved playing, and we loved playing live, and we wrote a lot of songs just because we did. And they liked what we had done, and that was great. But that place, Warner Brothers, at that time, is the 70s. I mean, from 70 to 80, I guess. I mean, I'm not cutting anybody off or anything like that. I'm just saying that period of time, you could walk in there and talk to anybody. I don't care if it was Mo Austin, who like ran the place, or all the producers, all the people that worked on all the album production and promotion and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you just wander in and start talking to the head of the whole place. It was just like everyday stuff. It was an open door policy, and there was so many great musicians on their roster, a ton.
Absolutely. I wanted to talk to you about a couple of your sort of best known tracks, and Listen to the Music is, I mean, 1972, it's one of my favourites. I love it so much, but it was inspired by the desire for world peace. Playing it now, does it have a lot of resonance for you? Do you think people still listen to that and think that that's what you were talking about when you wrote it?
I don't know, that's pretty lofty. I had been listening to Alan Watts at that time, who was a British philosopher, and he was speaking at San Jose State, where I was going to college. And it was the middle of the Vietnam War, and all that was going on. The song was kind of about the Vietnam War, but it was also about this utopian idea that if everybody stopped talking and just listened to music on some grassy hill someplace, they'd get along better. And that's kind of where that all spurred from. I think people that hear it now look at it as a source of upbeat. It's happy, you know, and I think that's something that we need right now. I really believe that, and that's why it still resonates with people.
Absolutely. It's such a beautiful song. The Minute by Minute album, that was such an incredibly successful part of your story. But, you know, that was...
I'm glad I wrote that song. Oh, wait, no, it wasn't.
It wasn't you. But it was, I mean, that album, that entire album, the Grammy-winning period, it was incredibly successful. Looking back on it now, in retrospect, do you how did it feel at the time? How do you look back on it now? Was it all just a whirlwind?
It was pretty surreal, you know. I think it's funny with that record, and I think this happens a few times to all of us in different configurations. But when we finished that record, we weren't really sure about it. We didn't know what we had, we weren't even sure we liked it, you know. And I remember Ted played it at an A&R meeting, and Michael O'Mardian was the producer at the time. He said, yeah, he goes, literally everyone in there went like this, those guys are over. I think we were all very surprised when it took off, and,
In a good way.
yeah. I think we actually broke up the week before it, and they made us get back together because we had a record
Guys, you've got to
going
speak to
for
each
us.
other again.
And I think we literally did break up in Japan a week before, and me and Keith went to Hawaii for some R&R, and I think basically we had been in Japan long enough without any pot to realize that first place we could get to where there was marijuana was Hawaii. We went right there, and we just sat on the beach and played golf, and smoked marijuana. And we were just kind of depressed about the whole thing that happened in Japan. We just got frustrated, and everybody was going, this is not working. And then Pat called us on the phone and said, I hate to tell you this, but I just got off the phone with Ted, and we got a record on the charts, going up the charts, and maybe we should rethink this thing about breaking up, And so we went, okay. It was, back then, I don't think we really knew where we were going or why. We were just kind of going,
I'd say the whole career has been done that way.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
still searching. We'll
Yeah.
figure it out here eventually.
Do you
That's
feel
it.
like you've been lucky? Do you feel like you've worked hard?
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah, fortunate.
We have worked hard, but then everybody does if you're out on the road all the time. It's the career that we've had and still having. It's all been what you just described. There's no plan. There's no plot to this whole thing. It's just whatever shows up, and it's always been that way. I consider that a huge plus. I really do, because that's how, to me, you get the best work out of this band anyway.
We work hard. We play the shows that are offered us. Not every show, but we enjoy that aspect of our careers. I
That's
think
true.
getting out and
Playing live is
playing for
huge
people.
input.
We treat other people well, which is important. A lot of this business, and I'm sure you experience it. There's a lot of jerks, that have a high opinion of themselves and what they're doing and how brilliant they think they are. And we never really have that attitude. We know that a lot of this is serendipity, and where you end up in this life, so many of us, is just a chance. Look at other parts of the world and how people are suffering, and recognizing that there but for fortune could be me. And so you have to keep that in mind with what you're doing, to keep a realistic feet on the ground. And I think it's helped us to be better people, and I think it's helped us to be better artists because of that, because you retain a sense of humility, if you will. That's important, I think.
Oh, amen to that. Just finally, gentlemen, because I could talk to you all day, I need to ask you about your live shows, because despite the fact, obviously, we didn't get to see you in London this weekend, you are still playing some shows while you're in the UK. And I would love to know what people can expect, what your fans can expect when they come down to see you.
I think a really good show. We pride ourselves on doing a really good show, and it's an array of all the eras of this band, including the new album, Walk This Road. And we're doing 4 songs off that live, which is amazing. We don't ever do that. Like 1 or 2 songs, generally a single or something like that. But this time
Genius
we're doing
work.
4 songs.
Genius work. We're fabulous.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I just think that the people come for a reason.
Yeah.
They come because they enjoy the music and they enjoy watching the band, and other people tell them it's a great show. And we don't know if it's great or not, but we go out and do our best, and we get a lot out of that. It's both sides. Yeah, they get a lot out of it. We get just as much out of it for being up there playing while that's going on, and that's huge. That's one of the reasons we keep showing up.
We play the songs that people want to hear, I think, part of our presentation. Because you know how many times, I don't know if you've ever been to shows and you're waiting for your favorite song and the artist never plays it. They do extended jams off of something you never heard before, and you're going, what is this? We don't, we do a little bit of jams, but we try to do the songs that are important, that we know are going to be important to people.
Amazing. But I think I'm seeing you in London with my dad. I can't wait. So I'm
Oh,
going
the
to come
O2,
on.
great. That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
Super excited. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Have a lovely
you for
rest of your
having us.
time.
Thanks for having us.
Look forward to
Appreciate
seeing
it.
you on stage. Thank you.
Thank you.
All time.